Welcome everybody to episode 10.
Number 10. We hit the double digits finally. So
yes, we're finally teenagers. This would be a lot of fun.
I don't know about teenagers, but
Performance Parakone.
that's like 12 or 13, but
is it?
Yeah.
13.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That makes
12,
sense.
12 is like preteen.
That makes sense.
Yeah, 10 is still a kid.
Our preteen years. But yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. We have a very exciting episode for you guys today. We're with Tali and Michelle from Lozafina Marketing. They are a partner of Barrientos Scholarship Foundation, and we've been working with them for a little less than a year now, but it's been very crucial to expanding BSF's mission and getting ourselves out there in the community more. So I'll let them introduce themselves a little bit more.
Okay, hi, my name is Tali Velasco. I am like the senior writer at Lozafina, I could say. I do a lot of the digital content, social media, the newsletter, that's all me, and the blogs. So I'm, since I started with her, I have a lot of stuff that I've been doing. But did you want me to maybe introduce a little bit about Lozafina? Or?
Yeah, go ahead. What are you guys doing at Lozafina?
So, Lozafina is, as it says, a PR marketing firm. We're all, it's a woman, Latina-owned business. Yeah. And so we have about 12 maybe clients that we have. We have, the number goes up.
You're like the one is complicated.
I lost track.
Yeah, but no, we have a really full workload. But we connect brands with people. It's what we do. It's we've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from coming in, but it's basically it's really nice having those clients, and we have a lot of diverse clients. So we have restaurants, we have Barrientos, right? We have Casa, we have what is it? Also Epic for girls. It's a really big one. Mentor, Nebraska. So it's a lot of different clients, which is really cool. So we can see the different sides of nonprofits and other organizations. But that's kind of the whole scope of what we do with everyone. Yeah.
Wow, so senior writer, that sounds like a really big title.
I know it does sometimes. Sometimes I do 4 or 5 blogs a week, so every day I got something turning in.
Yeah.
But I do have my other coworkers, Savannah and Tiffany. They help me out too. Shout out, because without them, it's a team effort. Mm-hmm. So if sometimes I'm feeling a little behind, or I have client work that I need to do, then they help me out. But I started very she would have me going out, do you gotta cold call these organizations, and I'm like, no.
That's the best.
Yeah. And so she'd be like, go cold call, and I'm like, no, please. And so I'd just be there, part of me is like, don't pick up, and then it was they would pick up, and I'm like, oh hey, I'm Tali, I'm with Lozafina, so but now I get to, since we have so many clients now, and we get to have all these, I just kind of round up all the clients and be what's going on with them. And so it's mainly promoting them, and then a little bit of the events that are going on in our community too. So it's kind of a good wrap of a lot of different things. So,
yeah.
Oh. So how long have you guys been at Lozafina, and when did that start also?
Do you want to maybe go ahead?
Yes.
And also introduce yourself.
Yeah.
My bad.
Hi, my name is Michelle Vega. I am the executive director of creative designs at Lozafina. So that's just a very fancy title for I'm basically just the head designer. So yeah, most if not all of the design work coming out of Lozafina sees me or comes through me at some point. I think Tali really put the nail on the hammer there. We are Lozafina. We celebrated our 4-year anniversary in October.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very fun. We had a whole event for that. One of the first events I was involved in.
Okay.
So it was interesting seeing it all come together. I started with Lozafina in January of last year. So I just made my 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I came to Lozafina through a sports marketing internship. That's where I began. And I was still in school, so it was very much like part-time. I would do things whenever like I had the time, because I was in my last year at UNO. So, very busy. But once I graduated in May, I started full-time with Lozafina in August. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
So you graduated in May of 2024?
Yes.
Oh, me too. Okay.
Yeah, so
awesome.
I'm sure I know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. You want to take it over?
Yeah. So, 4 years in October. I know you guys recently got a new office as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
How does that feel to be growing so much that you guys have a whole new office?
We had a really hard time with it at first, because obviously we love that we're growing, we're expanding as a business. This is growth. This is good for us. But it's, me personally, I have a hard time with change. And when I started, we had like our little office. It was like all of us in like this little room. And it's like I'd come in and it's like everybody's in the same room. Mm-hmm. And it's like we chit chat. That's how we work. That's how we play. It didn't feel like work. It felt like we'd get there, you'd hang out with like your coworkers, and you're also like just doing your work. But now we have like offices and like
there's
a conference room.
Us.
Yeah, there's walls between us. It's like if I want to go talk to someone, I have to get up. It's awful, but it's also great.
It's good.
So,
Y'all's last office was super cozy too.
Yeah.
You guys can't see it, but it was like, it literally was like a giant square, and they just had aesthetic little chairs and plants and everything. I loved y'all's last office.
The windows.
Oh,
I
big
miss the
windows.
Natural light.
Natural
light.
Yeah, natural lighting. We've done what we can. We've put in a lot of effort to decorate the office, because it's like you would go in, like the first few days you'd go in and it'd be like gray walls. You're like in a little cell. It was so depressing. So like I immediately just got to decorating. Yeah. I couldn't do it.
No, it looks cool, but y'all definitely had a lot of rooms. I remember going in there and being like, there's like 8 rooms in this one room. I was like, what is this, a maze?
Yeah.
No.
So how many, sorry.
Go for it, yeah.
I was just wondering, how many people do you have on staff now then? Because did it start with just you two and Josie?
Yeah.
So it started, since the very beginning, it was like, so Josie and me, and then, but we were just always like virtual, so we didn't even have an office back then. And then, as time went on, Savannah came in, and then we have, we have Tiffany now, we have Amy, we have Savannah. Oh, Savannah, I already said Savannah. Promise, there we go. Promise. Saudi, she was a Siembra, Nebraska intern, and she came along and, stayed with us. And then, who else do we have? Full
time, it's like in the office constantly. It's me and Tally.
Okay.
And there every day.
Okay.
And then Josie, of course.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is kind of like part-time.
Kind of comes and goes.
Yeah. But consistency is there.
So like about like a part/full-time team of what, like 8 to 10 people?
Yeah.
Give or take. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's funny because like when you first start off with only a few people, like we did at Casa, when even BSF, you kind of get used to that, and then you have like this full team of like 8 to 10. Even if it's part-time, it can really like, it can help the dynamic, but it really makes it feel more like so much more exciting. And like you guys are like, we have all these different people on our team. With so much, it's growth. It's really exciting to see. So yeah. I'm curious to hear more too about kind of the beginning of Lozafina. We talked about you and Josie starting it, right, or kind of being at the beginning. But starting an organization is definitely difficult. Any kind of company, I think, especially in a city like Omaha, smaller, people know each other. We're talking about Latina and women-owned business as well. You're already dealing with a little bit of like some natural pushback through like our system and the community. So how would you say, having been specifically for Tally, because you've been for a while, how have you felt that the growth has affected Lozafina? Obviously you guys are getting more clients, but just give some personal perspective on like what that's looked like, how that's felt like to you to be part of that.
Yeah, since I started with her, I was pretty much Josie Josie like saved me at one point because I was at UNO and I had no idea what I was doing. I had just changed majors. I was a biology major.
Oh my gosh, me too.
So
me too. Literally the same thing happened.
I was a biology major. I had a quick like turnaround like during my junior year, and I said, you know, I was in the Goodrich Scholarship program. Yeah. So I reached out to my mentor and I was like, hey, like, can you connect me with someone? Because I need to shadow someone. I need to at least kind of know what route I want to take. So she connected me with Josie, and Josie was like, hey, she like took a chance on me. I had like no good resume. I had no like any like journalism experience, like nothing like that. So the fact that she took me in, like I will always be extremely thankful for like her taking the chance on me. And she didn't even know, like, she didn't know me basically, you know. She just knew I was a Goodricher and I was at UNO, and so I'm really glad she took that chance on me. But she basically said, hey, so I'm doing like a PR and marketing firm, and you know, she's a long time reporter, like she's iconic, like like Josie, like she started at the Omaha World Herald like as a freshman at UNO. Wow. You know. Wow. So she's been in there, and so I really even though I was part of her like story at the beginning, I really do think that a lot of it is on her, like the way that she kind of branched out everything, because she's so well like connected with the community, and she's such like a fearless like boss. Like she really was like, I'm like, I like aspire to be like her, because she like, the way she just does not take no for an answer. She will stand firm. She'll stand on business, you know. So, but personally, like the growth that I've seen with Lozafina, like it's been truly like, I really don't know even how to explain it, because as like a biology but now journalism major, like I would have never imagined that I would be in that position with her, but I, you know, kudos to Josie, like she really did that. And I know she's always gonna be like, you know, it was an us team, it was a team effort, but no, like she did so much. She's continuing to do so much, and like always, you know, being on our side. Like I've never seen her as like a boss, I guess you could kind of say. Like she's always been like there for us as like a friend, as a mentor, as a coach. And so she's made it really, really easy for us to like that transition with everything. But yeah, but I would say like in general, like the whole growth of Lozafina has been like really admiring to see, I guess. Like it's like something to truly admire, because she's really done it all. But yeah, it's really nice to see how it's growing, especially being like a Latina and being a woman, and you know, and so the fact that she's like going through all these barriers and doesn't take no for an answer is really like kind of what I think we both kind of look up for her on that. So.
Yeah, because Lozafina is one of the few Latina-owned marketing firms in Omaha. Because I don't think I've seen marketing firms that are owned by women, let alone Latinas. So I think that's a really big step for Latinas and in Omaha. Because you know, there's a lot of businesses that are just owned by white men, and it's the stereotype, and you know, men in general. But no, I think kudos to Josie as well for taking that step. I know when you're creating a business, when we talk to Diana and Carlos, you know, you just have to take that leap of faith to really put everything into it to really make it successful. And it seems like that's what is happening at Lozafina.
Yeah, and I think it has to do a lot with the fact that she started it with like good intentions, because it was like during COVID, you know, and she saw how all these like brown and black businesses were like being affected. And so she kind of took the initiative to say, hey, I have the connections, I have the knowledge, and I want to help. So I think the fact that she started on that sort of like foundation, I think, and she still stands on that. So I think that's what's made like Lozafina continue to thrive.
You can definitely tell she's like real. Like that's the only way I know. She's very real. With
authentic.
Oh, there you go. That was better.
Yeah.
So like, tell me, Michelle, is that the same kind of pathway for you, or like you were doing something different, or what?
It was very, very, very similar. I was, you know, in my last year, I was starting to get really anxious because I didn't like, I stayed with it. It took me a while to pick a degree. I was majoring in studio art with a concentration in graphic design. Art felt very scary to pursue because especially coming from an immigrant family, it's like you'll be a doctor, you're gonna be a lawyer. No, she's gonna be an artist.
She's gonna be broke.
You're like, you can do that for free at home.
You're already like facing the stereotype, like you're gonna be a broke artist. So it's like ni modo. And so I figured graphic design, it's like it was growing and it felt a little bit more stable than traditional art. So that's the route I took. But it's like I didn't know what I wanted.
Right.
Like I didn't have a plan really. And so I went crying to Goodrich. I was also a Goodricher. Okay. I was getting really anxious, and so I talked to my advisor. Who was your advisor?
Patty.
Yeah. Shout out to Pat.
Same.
Shout out to Patty.
Patty. She's seen us cry.
Yeah.
Patty's repping Lozafina too.
She's seen me through.
Oh yeah.
But no, yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and she had like mentioned Josie a very long time ago, but like I refused because I was afraid of like doing something real. Like it felt too real for me, and I was like, I didn't want to do like, I didn't want to venture out into the real world yet. I was afraid, but like eventually, like I had no choice. I was like, it was go time. So she connected me with her, and it's like similar to Tally. Like I didn't have anything. Like I had no prior experience. I had no resume. I mean, it was trash. It wasn't good. And it's like she took me in.
She's clutch.
Yeah, she took me in. It really, like I had, it was what I had been studying. So it's like I knew how to do it, but it's like there's only so much you can learn in a classroom. And so working with like real clients and like real people really isn't, because it started as an internship. So I was still in school. So it's like I would go to class and I would do all like my little assignments, and then it'd be like, but this is like real work. This is like stuff that people are gonna see. So it was like very daunting also. And it's like, this is for somebody, like this has to be good.
They paid for this.
Yeah, it's like no, but it gave me real world experience before I had even graduated. And then I also had something to look forward to, like after graduation. Like I had somewhere to go, and shout out to Josie. Because she, and obviously like as I worked with her, like I got better, because I'll look back at like my old work and I'll be like, wow, I'm so sorry, that was awful. That was so bad. But no, yeah, I mean, working in Lozafina I've gained a lot of confidence, and that's all like in part thanks to her, because it's like she wouldn't tell me anything was bad, but it'd be like, we'll work on it together. And it's like, I saw the vision, and it's like, you learn over time how to do things, how to get better at things. So it's like, just repetition, you get better. You get better at your job as you do it. And so, here we are now.
Yeah, I think it's also trust. I think that's a big
I think
thing.
she has too much trust in me. I'm so sorry.
Too much.
Too much trust. Sometimes she'll like tell me
ignore this part. Ignore this part.
Don't listen to this.
She's like, she'll be like, do this, and I'm like, are you sure? Like, she's like, yeah, she's like, you've got it. Like, I trust. Like, I believe in you. Like, are you sure? Yeah. But but that like gives you confidence too. Like she believes I can do this, so I can do it.
I think Suleyma, we've actually, it seems like it's a reoccurring theme for us, but it kind of ties into like that imposter syndrome feeling,
Yeah, because and we've mentioned it before in other episodes, but there's just so many times that me personally, I felt, maybe I continue to right now with my job, that we feel like we don't deserve the things that we're getting, and we're there because of luck, and we just have to go, fake it till you make it. And because that's how I feel at my job right now. So I'm the marketing coordinator at Visit Omaha, and it's mostly white people there, and I'm the only Latina, so I'm just like, do I really deserve to be here? So I get what you mean, that sometimes you just feel like, oh, you're putting too much stress on me, like I don't have the skills or talent for this, but they're putting that trust on you because you do. They see that you have that talent and skill, and I keep telling myself that, but sometimes I don't believe myself.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to, drill that into my head sometimes, but I feel like it's something that other people have experienced, and we've talked about it in other episodes, and it's a real problem. Not real problem, but it's a real obstacle that people face nowadays.
Yeah, I think more, especially as people of color, or with all these different I guess you could say things that people judge us based on, like not only
different narratives,
or gender, or what the color of our skin, our language. I think there's so many different things, and I think that's something we wanted to touch on with you guys as well, because I know that your team is it all women team, full women team, I believe, correct? I mean, let's get a little real here. Let's talk about, like, when you go to these meetings, right? I mean, like Suleyma said, she goes to the office. I mean, we've talked to Visit Omaha too. They're all great people, but the feeling of being surrounded by, like a bunch of white people, and I mean, for y'all, especially white men, right? Like that.
Please don't fire me.
Cooked, gone. No, I'm just kidding. But I think it's a real conversation to have on how that makes somebody feel, especially like, are you guys first generation, second generation students? First generation. Even that on top of everything, because that's something that, like, people might not see, like, right away. They might see you're Hispanic or whatever, but that's something that you feel inside. Sometimes there's this pressure. You're like, oh, I'm the first one, right? Like, I'm kind of leading the way. Like, if I don't figure this out, right? Like who's who's else? So can you guys talk a little bit? We'll start with Michelle this time, like, on just how you approach those situations. Like, if you are in a room with a bunch of, like, white men, and, like, how that makes you feel, right? How you've had to navigate that up to this point.
I think it's very. It really is all about how, like, you carry yourself with them. Like, you fake it till you make it. Like, and also I think it's because we're very young, and a lot of the times they're older than us, so it feels, and it's like they're coming to us for, like, for promotion, for marketing, and it's like, I should know how to do this, and so sometimes it is very, like, daunting.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you really have to fall back on the fact that, like, this is what I'm good at, and it's like you have not the credentials, but, like, there's a word for it. Se me va.
This is how I feel all the time on here. I'm like, God, I know the word, but I cannot find it.
You put me on the spot. I don't know. I think it's,
like, the capacity, to get there, right, or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Because usually I don't interact with people that much. I like, because I'm into design.
Yeah,
I'm in the back.
True.
Nobody sees me back there.
I don't need to see these guys.
Yeah, so that was one of my favorite parts of the job. I don't really have to interact with anybody.
I know we put you on the podcast. Like,
So this already is very much out of my comfort zone, like getting my face out there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's like, you challenge yourself to try new things, because otherwise you don't grow.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I answered your question.
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's like a great start, because I mean, I think that when you are in these, and I'll let you answer as well, like, when you are in these scenarios with a bunch of, like, again, like, even for me, I'll be in a boardroom. There you go. There you got it.
Yeah. It's like they feel like they know. It's like they come with that predisposition maybe.
Okay.
Of, like, that they know they're like, not that they're better, but it's like they have more experience.
Right.
It's like the credibility part of it.
Yeah. And so, but it's like, you also, like me, I know what I'm doing, so it's like you have to assert that, and it's like, it is a little scary having to, like, take control, but you got to do it.
You have to speak up a little bit, right?
Yeah, having to give yourself that voice.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I would say I had So I had that talk with Josie kind of recently too. Was kind of, I think as Michelle said, power and control. Our age, I think a lot of the times they look at us.
I mean, look at us. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl.
Not to just look at us.
Like, I don't think they look at us and think,
she's a serious businesswoman.
You know? So that's one thing too, like our age, like sometimes, but then I think they came to us, you know, we have something.
Yeah. You came to me, so listen to me.
Yeah. Please. Please take my suggestions. So, I think you have to, like, you know, tell yourself, you know stuff that they don't know. You have that knowledge, that credibility, and, you know, as they do in other areas. But, I mean, if they came to us, it's because we have something, you know, that they would like. And so I think that power and control thing, you know, don't be rude about it or anything like that, but you do have to be a little, like, assertive and kind of take control over certain discussions and things like that. But like I said, I think our age and maybe our image and stuff like that, sometimes I get into these calls.
I know the Zoom.
And, you know, so, but... I mean, yeah, as Michelle said, you have to, like, remind yourself, like, you know, I went to school for this. Yeah. I have the education. Like, don't underestimate yourself, I guess. And don't make yourself feel small when, you know, you are at that capacity.
Yeah, definitely.
So. Yeah. And at the same time, I feel like and we've had with Diego, I just feel like he is a good example or a good person to kind of relate this to, is that you kind of have to flip the narrative in a way, too. Yeah, you may be young and people might think that you're not as capable of doing certain things. But if you flip the narrative and just think to yourself, I'm this young and I know this much, like how powerful is that to someone who, you know, an old white man, like maybe at this age he was working and didn't go to school or didn't have the opportunity to go to school. I think it's also really important to flip that narrative because when we were interviewing Diego, I was like, oh my gosh, you're only 18, about to be 19.
I know.
Like, you have so much knowledge and you act so mature for your age. I think it's just, you know, in that, the point is just to flip the narrative and tell yourself, like, I'm this young and I know this much. Like, that's crazy, you know. Just hype yourself up.
Yeah.
Hype. How old are you?
23.
23?
22.
22?
24.
24. So, like, we are pretty young, you know, like quarter of a century.
About to get there.
It's a little daunting, but
the other day I caught myself thinking, I was like, yeah, like I'm almost 20. Almost 20. I'm almost 23. And it's like in my head, I'm still so, I feel like I'm not as old as I am.
20-year-old teenagers.
We're teenagers for life.
Yeah. So bad.
No, but I think that perception too, what you guys talk about, just when they physically see you as well, being young, right?
And a girl.
And a girl. I cannot relate there, but I do respect that struggle. Like, I mean, I've noticed amongst like my peers as well, like, and I think that's why it's really important to have those discussions, and especially to take a stand, you know, for your coworkers and peers, especially if they're not given the same opportunity. Because thankfully, the current work environments that I think that we all work in are pretty like healthy, you know, supportive. But I've definitely been in some workplaces where I realized that like if nobody would have spoke up for their coworker because they were a minority of some sort, I don't know if they would have ever been given the proper attention. And I think that's unfortunate. But I also think the young thing is like an interesting thing to consider, especially as we go into these workforces. Not only are we Latinos, as well as any other discriminatory things that people put on us, but I think being young, that's a tough one. I think that like flipping the narrative is important, especially when you go into these jobs. And I mean, for Josie to take that chance on you guys, it's great because there's so many jobs that like I've applied for before, and I'm like, they're entry level, like 5 years experience. I'm like, bro, I was like 18. What was I supposed to do? So
I should have started when I was 10.
Like Diego. Like, Diego is great too. I mean, he's a great example. I think you guys are all great examples of like what we would hope to inspire with more of these kind of conversations, that like Latinos, you know, you have to believe in yourself. You also, it's something that keeps coming up. And I think this is really important because it's funny that you guys had the same mentor for Goodrich, and of course they point you in the same direction. But it seems like a lot of people have had almost like an angel or someone, a mentor of sorts that's helping them along the process. But I think that requires trust on our end too, which it's hard.
You have to ask, like, you can't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
I think you can't do it all yourself. Like, I think it's a very tough realization to come to. At least it was for me. It was like, I can't do it on my own. It was like, I have to seek this out somehow.
Yeah. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I had my whole like midlife crisis there. Like I was like, what?
Mid-quarter of a century.
Yeah, my teenage midlife crisis. I felt like my whole world was like, in high school, like I was like over the top, like overachieving, like anything below like a B, like low B was like
tears.
Yeah.
And so when I got to like to my college courses, and it was more like heavy science material. Science is not my thing. I don't know.
I know, me too.
And so I think the fact that Josie just took me in, like, that was a little crazy to me, and to put me like in this position that like I still have like imposter syndrome with that, and I'm like, how am I here right now? And so I did think a lot of it is like, oh, I'm just here because of like I'm lucky. And so I think I discredit myself too. But no, Josie really took it.
We have the work ethic, like you said, like in high school, I had this similar problem. Like in high school, I was like overachieving, over the top like 5%, and like I was insane. But it's like I had a goal in mind. The goal was like a scholarship to get to college. But once I got that scholarship to get to college, it's like, I'm here, now what? Now what?
So
they give you a bunch of money and they're like, yo.
What do you want me to do?
No, definitely. Okay. I mean, do you have anything you want to bring up with them as well?
Yeah. So when you guys were talking about being, the senior writer and the executive director of
it's a very long time. Okay. I'm pretty sure I got it wrong.
Like, how do you guys, I know we mentioned imposter syndrome, but where do you guys see yourself? Like, do you guys still see yourself? I know Lozafina is growing, and what kind of hopes do you have for your career? Because I know it's very daunting to, like, even for me, like, I've barely been at Visit Omaha for 8 months, I think, and I'm just like, I don't see myself as a professional yet.
Yeah.
But that's what and I'm like, wait, I still feel like I'm doing an internship.
Right.
But I'm not. So how do you guys see yourself? Do you guys still see yourself like young? I mean, obviously you do, but do you guys realize like we're professionals now? Like, has that hit you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
When I have to pay a bill.
Rent. No, man, I think, it's that imposter syndrome really like, hits you sometimes. And like, it hasn't even been a year since we graduated college, So, and then the fact that we're like in these like positions, and a lot of students in their senior year like are having a lot of trouble finding work. Yeah. I remember I told like one time my teacher was like, oh, like share your successes for the week or something. I was like, oh, I just found out I get to stay on like the internship I'm with after college. Everyone in the classroom was like shook. They're like, oh my god, like she found a job after college. And so I don't know. Now I'm I realize it now that like when I'm putting out like I'm in the office, I'm doing all my reports, and I'm actually writing big stories now on people, on like events, on places like I grew up with, like I have Casa de la Cultura and they have Cinco de Mayo. I never thought I would be like, I went to that festival like since I kid. Yeah, so the fact that I'm like there now and helping promote the event and everything, I think that's kind of when it hits me, and I'm like, wow, like I'm really here. And so I do see myself as a professional. I do like to recognize that I am, even though sometimes I might feel a little. Some days there are times where I'm like, dang, do I know what I'm doing? No, I do know, Josie. I'm sorry, I do know what I'm doing, but yeah, it's things like that where I have to remind myself, no, you did this, you got your scholarship, you went to college, you you did what I think a lot of times I see it a lot where it's like I couldn't celebrate my achievements because I felt like it was an obligation to finish them. And so I think a lot of the times, like, I don't like to recognize that I'm like in these positions and that I earned my scholarship and I, you know, graduated with honors and all that stuff because
she's humble.
Because like, because I'm just like, you know, because I don't like it was always like an obligation. Like I feel like it kind of was sometimes, you know, growing up as a first generation, like. It
Daughter
was
of immigrants.
Yeah, it's kind of like
expected of you.
It's what it's expected, and so I know, you know, that's sometimes why I feel a little of that imposter syndrome. But you know,
like it's the standard for us. Like, it's not an achievement; it's just what you have to do.
What you have to do. Yeah. So, but you know, I do like to pat myself on the back and say, you know, I'm here, I did it, and you know, I'm gonna continue, you know, working and. Learning more and with Josie and with my coworkers. So yeah.
Same for you? Or what? What are we thinking?
You're gonna have to repeat the question.
If you feel like a professional yet. Or
I have my days. Like sometimes, like I really have to take charge, and it's like a lot of the days I'm just here. Like I'm, you know, I kind of just float around and I do my thing. And it's like I feel like I don't know. I know. I feel like I'm not doing anything. Like I don't know anything, but I realize I know stuff when other people don't. If that makes sense. Like over the summer, we had a bunch of like interns. I loved them. They were the most fun. But it's also like you realize that you do have all this knowledge because they're coming to you for advice. They're coming to you like seeking this knowledge, and it's like. I'm explaining to them how to do it because I know how to do it. So it's like I do end up having that like, so like I have a job and I'm doing it. But yeah, like it's because it's also just such a like the office is such a fun environment. I think it's a very unorthodox like office too because it doesn't really feel like I'm going to work sometimes. It's like I'm just going to go and we're going to hang out and I just also happen to be getting work done.
Yeah.
But like then some days like you have meetings with like clients, you have events you have to attend, and that's when it's like I think when I have to interact with the real world outside of my like office, I feel like I am a grown-up. It's like doing grown-up things. But yeah, it's also I feel like I have a very young mentality because I am young. It's like sometimes I feel old, but it's like I'm working in an industry like alongside people who have been in it for a very long time. And it's like, so yeah, the imposter syndrome is definitely there because sometimes it's like I know nothing in comparison to you, but it's also like I know things. I swear.
Well, once you have an intern too, I mean, like that makes you realize they're so much fun. I'll throw this. Suleyma used to be our intern. She used to be my intern. But no, but it really shows
now
you.
I'm your colleague.
Yeah. But that's how you know it was a good like internship and process. And I think that I felt the same way, and I still feel the same way with constant interns. And then I realized I'm like, wait, I actually know a lot. Like I was like, there's actually a lot that I can like help these people. Interns with right these people. Who are these people?
You're better than me. I would call them my minions.
My minions.
That's crazy.
But like all in you know with love.
Yeah.
With love.
Well, everybody loves the minions.
Yeah, with love.
But I feel that. I mean,
Do you
don't
see me as a minion?
Now that she mentioned it,
Did you? I should say.
Like we'd send them out on like these little missions.
I mean, you say that like definitely because I would be like, yo, I got to do this. I'm like, Suleyma, I need you to watch.
It's like I can't get it done, but you can.
That's a crazy visual for me, like all my little interns. But yeah, that will really like make you feel like a professional, especially when you have to go out there at all these events, you know, and to carry yourself differently. Once you have an intern, there is a certain level of professionalism that you have to like put out there. Now, don't get me wrong, like I try to create like very like fun, open dynamics with my intern. I'm not going to talk to them like like an old head, you know, be like, what's up, you know, whatever. So I definitely agree with that. Even
to be honest, when I first met him, we didn't meet in person. It was online. And when I met him, and I've said this before, like he carried himself so well, so professionally. I thought he was like 28 or something. And then I come to find out he turned out to be 24. I'm like, what?
Same age, yeah. And I'll say, I feel that too. Sometimes I'll go into these rooms and like, because I like, you know, especially when you get a title like marketing director or something like that, and I'm like introducing myself to people as marketing director, and I definitely feel that where I'm like, oh, now I feel like I have to act more grown up, because like I am grown up, but I'm like, I don't talk like this all the time.
I'm
so
just a girl.
Me, just a girl, yeah. But I think this is a good, we're coming to the end here, but I think that there's something that I really want to touch on, considering like today's climate a little bit, and it kind of ties in with professionalism, the idea of being a Latina, right? Especially a woman in today's time. I think that a lot of organizations have been put in a position where they have to take a stand for their different communities, whether it's immigrants, people of color, women, anything. And you guys are in a unique position as a marketing and PR firm to kind of be the intermediary between organizations and the community. And I think that a lot of people feel strongly and passionately. I know us, we're a Latino, serving institution, and I think that it would be undeniable to say that our community is not affected by everything that's going on currently and here in America. And I think that that's something I wanted to get both of you guys' perspective really quick. What have you guys seen as at Lozafina, having to work with these different organizations and have to help them like filter this passion, these thoughts, and then how do you guys show that as Lozafina right now in this time?
So I would say, starting off with our perspective on all this. I mean, diversity, inclusivity, and like equity is what Lozafina stands for. That's the foundation it started on, helping out these Black and brown communities. And so I guess speaking for us, it
wasn't a policy. It's something we live every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that, all these like other companies like
make an effort
we're
to
taking
do
it
that
off.
That is
us.
Yeah.
It feels like a little weird that like I remember like at that like award ceremony, I think Josie had said like it feels a little weird to be like
to be accepted
applauded
an award for
it.
Yeah.
When it's something that should just already be the standard.
Yeah, you're living it.
Yeah. So I think that I remember Josie kind of saying that at the award, being like, it's a little weird that we're being applauded for this stuff when it's something, with us, like, I think since we are a Latina and woman, Latina-owned business, and I think it really hits, the spot for us because it's our communities that are being affected, and it's kind of, it is tough to stay silent in this kind of climate. And I do see it in other, like on our clients too, they do need sometimes to put out statements and things like that is expected of them, because there are a lot of people in the community who will, come out and be like, hey, why haven't you said anything? Like, what, And so I do see like the struggle of our clients sometimes saying, but how do I do it? How do I say it? What do I do? And so, I mean, we're there for them to make sure that, they do share that, whatever their statement may be, but kind of making sure that they stay aligned with their missions and their values and stuff like that. But, there is a lot of, like, expectations from these big companies and things like that. But I don't even know if I answered your question. But, I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, yeah. But I think, there are a lot of companies who prefer to, stay neutral or stay, not, offend anyone or
of course,
something like that. But I mean, in terms of Lozafina, it's what we stand for. It's what we do daily. And so, we have all of our clients who we dearly love. So, I think, in terms of like Lozafina, that's how the foundation is started on. So it's not something. It's like a no-brainer for us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. If you look at your guys' website, I mean, it's literally like one of the first things on your about page.
Yeah.
Is diversity or inclusivity and equity.
Yeah. So we take a lot of pride in that. But, But yeah, it's kind of like for us, it's kind of like duh,
Yeah.
But there are other companies who obviously don't feel the same way, which is really unfortunate. But it's that dividing sector, in the country. So.
Yeah, right. You have anything you want to add as well?
I feel like Tally really got the gist of it. It is, Lozafina lives, breathes, dies, inclusivity, diversity.
Mm-hmm.
We are here, to bring the community together, I think, is a very good one. Especially, look in our office, it's...
Mm-hmm.
Just look at us.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. It's I do remember that speech because it is the one you mentioned, because it is it's that's why it's it feels some type of way, I guess, when there's so many companies removing it. It's you were only doing this because you were obligated.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
But it's it's not anything we had to institute, because it's we were already, it's you walk into the office, you do it every day,
Yeah.
it's you just live it.
Yeah, it's different for sure.
Yeah. It's very hard times for people, both clients and employers as well, because it's just so hard to stand by what you believe in without, stepping on other people's toes, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just, I definitely see that, organizations have been taking a stand in their values and have been assertive with that. And, it's just really appreciative to have an organization such as Lozafina to be on our podcast and kind of emphasize and resonate what BSF also stands for.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we are a Latino serving institution. I mean, you guys, as you said, your foundation, your base, one of your pillars are this, inclusivity and equity. And I think that's exactly what we're trying to do, is how do we get Latinos more integrated into the community that's Omaha, the U.S., the world, right? I mean, what we're doing here might feel small, but it leaves a ripple, especially in a city like Omaha that maybe doesn't have as many resources to uplift minorities like other bigger cities do. So I just wanted, again, say thank you to you both for coming on, Michelle, Tally.
Thank you so much.
And I really wanted to leave something with the audience too before we head out of here, is that, we're all here serving Latinos, right? We're Latino organizations right here. And I wanted to make sure that you guys knew from our side that we don't take any political endorsements, or we don't affiliate ourselves politically with either side. But we wanted to leave you guys with the fact that we know that there's a lot of our community and people out there that are struggling. Please make sure to educate yourself, know your rights, take a look at different pages if you're local here in the community. I know Lozafina probably has some great information out there. Casa de la Cultura, somewhere you can look for, also looking for different organizations. Latino Center of the Midlands. There's so many different organizations here that can help you get information, get educated, and help your community. I think that's the first thing. And the second thing is, make sure, if you want to make change, go talk to your congressman, go talk to your local government. Make sure you're getting out there, get active. Stay safe, though. Please stay safe, and make sure that you're, standing up for your people. So thank you guys for tuning into this episode. And thank you again to Lozafina.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This is fun.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.